Hello there and welcome back to Return of the Nerd. Today we're going to do what no other channel has done. We're actually going to review the Skeleton Crew. And we're not going to talk about Arabesh because it's boring and no one cares. And I'm not going to talk about Easter eggs. I'm not even going to say the word Easter egg. I said it, okay? I am so sick and tired of YouTubers who... This has become such a boring cliche now. Like, it's been going on for years. Every time there's a new TV show on Disney Plus or whatever it is you've got these channels and they're like, let's do a deep dive and let's talk about all the Easter eggs, and this is a breakdown of everything that happened and everything that's said moment by moment, and you're like, is this necessary? And who are you talking to? A person with a brain made of cabbage? I don't care about Easter eggs. I don't care how many there are. It's not important. It's not relevant to the story, okay? I just want to watch. See, this is my review. I own this. This is my channel. This is my opinion, and I'm going to give you my opinion of the Skeleton Crew, okay? And not patronize people, all right? So, also, I'm not going to rush and pump out my review, 1 second after the Skeleton Crew has been aired, because I know that it's probably not going to be correct. All right, so those videos, to me, I don't even watch them anymore because they just drive me up the wall. Okay. Hey, did you know the Arabesh in this scene is the from the Rebels? And actually, did you see the symbol on the wall? That's actually from A New Hope, which is the Who cares? Who gives a crap? That's not the main story. Okay, so today I'm going to tell you why I think the Skeleton Crew so far is genius, okay? Dun, dun, dun. Yeah, I said it. Genius. The story is genius, right? The reason why... Take a deep breath. This is a PG-rated show. I just did Trump hands. And the writers and the directors have done something very clever. So, kids can watch this show, and they get a kid's perspective. But adults can sit down, parents can watch this show with their kids and see a completely different story. Now, what do I mean by that? Okay, the kids, they see themselves, right? Oh, I'm going on an adventure. This is a fantasy. You know, it's so exciting. But what the parents see is danger. This is dark, this is disturbing, this is not a utopia, this is a dystopia? There's something wrong here. This cannot be the case. So there's these two perspectives, and I think that's very clever. So as an adult, I picked up on a lot of things that kind of scared me, right? That the children would be unaware of, and talking about the children in the story as well. So you've got 4 kids, 2 boys, 2 girls. The 2 boys are young, gullible, immature, but they're innocent, okay? And they are easily misled by the older teenage, let's say senior high school girls, okay? So we've got Fern and KB. Wim is obviously the central character to this whole... I didn't know this was going to happen, but... Wim is the focal point of this story, okay? His struggle, because he's lost his mother, he's bereaving, and the way he copes with that, his coping mechanism is to switch off at school, and he goes into this fantasy world where he uses his data pad to a bit like YouTube, where you go on and you just watch endless hours of documentary and conspiracy theorists about JFK being shot in the head, because it's like sound familiar? So he's just obsessed with ancient mythology and Jedi, and they all live in this suburban hell, like where everything is perfect, there's no crime, and people live the perfect life, and they are amazing citizens. Does that remind you of anything? Because kids watching this show will not have picked up on that at all, but as adults, we all know that this is a dystopian theme. It is a trope, okay? So the other YouTubers who just keep mentioning the word Goonies, 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 you are all wrong, okay? And I'm happy to correct you. So, first of all, I'm going to tell you, most of the tropes from Skeleton Skeleton Crew are based on the following movies, most of them from the 80s. One of them's a slightly older movie from the 60s. Okay, so the first one is you've got the kids at school and they're bored. They're being controlled by the teacher. They're being spoon-fed. This is not a good way for them to learn. It's about conformity. They're doing this assessment test, which is you have no choice in your career. And you've got the up your ass mum, tiger mum, that comes in and tells everybody that they must do a good job, otherwise, your life's gonna be, you're gonna end up homeless and on the streets and blah 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 message. So it's the kids watching it are like, oh yeah, that's school. But for an adult, you're like, okay, this is basically indoctrination. They're all being brainwashed. And this seems like there's something odd with this planet. Everything seems too perfect and too... it's kind of like the Truman Show. And then later on, we learn about there's a barrier. What is a barrier and why would you need one? Are you under attack from Klingons? No, there's a barrier, and the adults in the room will figure out the barrier is not to protect them. It's actually to stop them from leaving. Okay, again, like in the Truman Show, where he has a fear of water, and so he can't leave town, he can't cross the bridge, and he's constantly told, why would you want to live anywhere else? This is perfect. So my own opinion is Luke, okay, or the New Republic have set up this planet as some kind of scientific experiment to see if they can create or condition the perfect citizen for their new, for their new regime. So this is the dystopian part, and this will not come out until I think later on in the later episodes, but it's pretty obvious that that's an undercurrent right there. So the movies, Ferris Bueller's Day Off, Bueller, anyone? And the kids are all like drooling out the sides of their mouths onto the desks. That was like the Breakfast Club, because you got the four kids who are rebelling against this system, and especially that scene where Wim and I have to check the names. Wait, Wim and I've got it written down here. Okay, hang on. Wim and okay, Fun. So many names to remember. It's always the same when you have a new Star Wars show. You have to remember the actors and actresses' names and their on-screen names as well. It's so difficult. Okay, so Fern, the rebellious teenager, she says, "What are you in here for?" And that is totally the same as the kids who are stuck in detention on a Saturday morning at the Breakfast Club, right? So these four delinquents, they get together and they go on an adventure which they are not supposed to have. It's funny because it does mirror reality. The two boys are much younger. They seem like they're in junior high school. They're very, very easily led by the two more mature, older, maybe senior high school female characters, KB and Fern. And the whole time they had me in stitches because the relationship between the boys and the girls in this group is like, that's exactly how it would be in real life, right? So the girls would say something, make up a story, and the boys would go, "That's not true." Shit, that's true. And and then it's like, and the girls are constantly nagging and telling them, not, "Can you help us?" or "Can you do this?" and "Can you do that?" They're telling them, "Don't touch this, don't do that, go over there, don't move, shut up." And that is exactly reality. And that was making me laugh so much. So yeah, I'm loving this show so far. It's really good because it somehow the writing team and the director have managed to create this story which is interesting from two perspectives. From if you're a really young kid and you're watching Star Wars for the first time, and also if you're an adult and you're just watching it with your kid, so it keeps everybody engaged. All right, now I'm gonna run through a list of characters because this channel is dedicated to action figures as well. We have a crossover, my niche. I have a couple of niches here, so we're gonna talk about the characters very quickly. The first one, Captain Silvo. Well, he hasn't come out yet, but you could make one. You just take Cobra Commander, decapitate him, and then stick it on Jude Law's body. Done. Okay. Wim is central to this story. Like I said, I think he's the most important person in the story. And we may even find out at the end he could be Broomstick Boy and be force sensitive. How about that then? So the next one is Brutus. Brutus, I think, is just fantastic. The action figure is amazing. I think it's one of the best action figures that has come out in 2024. I will be getting a bunch of Skeleton Crew and other figures that have recently been released. And the next video I make will be an unboxing review video. So I can't wait to get my hands on those. And Brutus looks really special. Now, I was happy to see Brutus, his species, because in A New Hope, they cut out the scene with him and the cup and replaced it with another dumb-looking alien. And as someone who grew up in the 70s, I watched the original trilogy as a kid. I liked the wolf. Keep him in there. So it's good. I was like, yeah, Brutus, good. All right, next one we need to talk about is the security droid. There's lots of droids in the Skeleton Crew, a lot. So I'm hoping that Hasbro or whoever can create some more droids for us to collect. We've got the security droids, or you can call them truancy droids. We've got RX-24, who's the DJ in Galaxy's Edge, who has already come out. Some people have him. It was an exclusive. But I'd like to see him come out again. I think it was the bus driver, and they were like sticking bubblegum on the back of his head and basically pushing him around. Also, what's another one? Oh, is it SM-33? Correct me if I'm wrong, because there's just so many names to remember. But the droid who's like in hibernation, and then he's reactivated when the ship is turned on. This is a really cool droid. And yesterday, Yakface actually said, because it was every Tuesday we have Gift the Galaxy, and Hasbro will show us some of their new pipeline reveals and stuff, and we have this droid coming up, so I'm really super excited about getting him. He is a hilarious character. And then actually we had a scene of the torture droid. I mean, it's not the torture droid, but it's the same make, the same model, who was on. So there's only two locations. There's only two locations that we are introduced to. So one is at Aden, okay, and the other one is Spaceport Borgus, okay, and I love both. So the second episode, when they go to Spaceport Borgus, as an adult, I was like, I can't believe that they're getting away with this. It's so funny. So they had, imagine Mos Eisley. You know, you've never seen a place full of scum and villainy, and like Kenobi mentions that, right, to Luke. He's like, I have warned you, be careful, right? This place Borgus, just like, you can magnify that by 1,000. This is the scummiest place in the universe. And there's like smugglers, drug dealers, people selling weapons on the black market. You've got like brothels. There's actually a woman with 3 titties if you look carefully. So that whole Borgus section was brilliant. And the number of something, Star Wars fans have been complaining a long time that there are not enough alien species in the TV shows. There's too many human characters. Okay, well, episode 2 did not disappoint those fans, all right? There were so many alien species, and they were done really well. It wasn't just CGI. It actually reminded me of when I was growing up, The Muppet Show, and Henson, when he did Fraggle Rock, and, like, it just looked amazing. The costumes look absolutely incredible for this TV show. And I'm hoping that Hasbro, you can make a lot of those alien creatures for us in the Black Series and the TVC. That will be wonderful. I think we're really spoilt for choice, to be honest with you. So you can put in the comment section below, what action figures would you like to see for the Skeleton Crew? I know we've already had the main characters there. Obviously, that was going to be done anyway. But if you wanted to extend the line, because after watching the first 2 episodes, I think that this TV show is really going to catch on, and it's going to become really, like, popular. And then Hasbro are going to want to extend that line, okay? Right, moving on, there was actually one other person that I wanted to mention, which is Gunter, okay? So I believe that Gunter is the pirate who will inevitably feel sorry for the kids because they can't get their way. You know, it's kind of like Peter Pan. They can't get back home. They're stuck. And he's going to sacrifice himself, or he's going to do something and become a good person and help them to get back. So I think Gunter, the pirate, he's going to turn his back on his scallywag friends. That's just a hunch. All right. Again, what do you think? Right. Let's have a look here now. The next thing I wanted to talk about is homages and paying tribute to directors and scenes from other movies, and I don't think this is a good idea. And Star Wars, Lucasfilm, you need to stop doing this. I think it's okay if you do it in a very subtle, nuanced way, but when you do it and it's like too obvious, it doesn't look good, and it tells me that you don't have any of your own ideas. All right. And other YouTubers, they use the homage to the Goonies. No, you're just ripping off. You're just ripping off and stealing other people's ideas, and that's not good. And it's also, you're just kissing someone's ass. I want to kiss Steven Spielberg's ass. Stop it. You don't need to do that. Put your own ideas in there, okay? So, I've already talked about, you know, there's lots of 80s tropes in there from 80s movies that other YouTubers haven't mentioned. They keep on going on about the Goonies, but actually, I saw Ferris Bueller's Day Off, Prometheus. Okay, what happens in Prometheus? They find a structure, and they don't know what it is, but it turns out to be a spaceship. Where's it going? Home. Okay, to destroy Earth. So there's that. Fahrenheit 451. That's an old book, and the original movie back in the 60s. The whole of At-Atten reminds me of Fahrenheit 451, right? And it also the Truman Show, those two combined together. We've got the Breakfast Club, and there was one funny scene when they go to the spaceport and the guy's trying to sell weapons to the pirates, and there's this like silver ball that attacks people, and it's got like drills and daggers and things, and I was like, oh my goodness, that's out of a very old horror movie. That's Phantasm, and I don't know if any of you here are old enough to remember Phantasm. So that was a real throwback there. I was like, oh god. Yeah, so a lot of other YouTubers, they just completely ignored that, or I think they just made their videos so quickly because they have to be the first ones to upload, and it's just, no, I would rather take my time and do a quality video and give people my own opinion rather to just be a clone and copy someone else. Goonies, Arabesh. I don't care. Right, let's go on to the next page. I'm going to talk about my favorite moments in both episodes. Okay, so number one, the jump to hyperspace. Okay, so I don't like aeroplanes, and I always shit myself when I get on a plane, okay? Now, if I was living in the Star Wars universe, and I'd never left my planet before, and I got on a ship, I would definitely shit myself. But going into hyperspace, I would just diarrhea all over everybody in the ship, okay? So that was hysterical. The kids screaming as they went into hyperspace, because that is so what they would do. But if you've never, ever been on a spaceship before, let alone just suddenly go into hyperspace, that is some scary shit. Okay, number two is the character Neil, who looks like Dumbo the elephant. And at first I had my reservations. I was like, this is going to suck. Is this Max Rebo? But he doesn't look good. But the acting on this is absolutely phenomenal. These kids are upstaging the adult actors from The Acolyte, okay? To be honest, Lucasfilm, you wasted hundreds of millions of dollars on The Acolyte, and you should have given that money to the Skeleton Crew because they know what they're doing. These kids can act, and they had me engaged. I'm 52. I was absolutely engaged the whole time through. These kids, the way they connect with each other, the chemistry, the way their relationships and everything is all explained. It's good. This is good story writing. So back to Neil. Neil is so gullible and so stupid. So him and Wim, they form this double act like Abbott and Costello, and there's lots of slapstick humor, and I just found myself laughing at it. Like when they put their ear to the entrance of what they think is an old Jedi temple, and the girls tell them otherwise. They say no, it's an abandoned mine, and you can still hear the screams, and then she just hits it with a shovel. I'm like, that's exactly what I expected them to do. And Neil takes his ear and puts it on on the hatch, and I just started laughing to myself. And again, when the two of them, they're such a couple of dopes. Wim's like, I have a great idea, and you just know it's like it's not going to be a great idea. You take this end of the rope, and I'll abseil down the ravine, and then I'll help you. And then he just pulls it, and Neil just like goes arse over tit and flies straight down the ravine. And just like moments like that just had me chuckling. And I think as a kid, I really would probably wet my pants watching this show. I think this show is going to be really popular with children, very, very popular. So it's funny how you've got this rated RG, like, and it is, right? But then there's this undercurrent of like, it's R-ratedness, because you get to Borgo and you're like, wait, did I see a woman with 3 tits? I did. There's a brothel and there's a woman standing there and she's clearly got 3 boobies, okay? And there's all these dark dystopian themes and tropes in the story as well, which actually makes you feel kind of panicky and like, oh my god, what's going to happen? This is really bad. And Jude Law, I don't trust this guy. He seems kind of sneaky. I don't believe he's a Jedi. I think that Jude Law is probably Captain Silvo, and he's lying to them, and they're gonna follow him, and they're gonna take advantage of the kids, and they all just want to go back to Adin and find this planet because it's got, hidden treasure. But they're going to find out something else. And so everybody's lying, and everybody's like, it's like the kids are trusting the adults when they shouldn't. So there's this very strong message. So basically, what I'm going to round off, I'm going to give you some questions, okay? So question number 1, do you think Jude Law is a good guy? Okay? Or do you think he could be otherwise? All right? Number 2 is, do you think that Wim, who is the central character here, do you think eventually he might find out that he is force sensitive? I mean, he could be Broomstick Boy for all we know, but that will happen later on. And the last one is, please tell me what action figures you would like to collect that have not already been made. Okay, Skeleton Crew, because I do believe as we go through the episodes, there are going to be more and more cool characters, and my list is just going to be pages and pages long. So, okay, that's my first review. I hope you liked it. Subscribe, and I'm doing things differently here. I'm doing things differently to the other YouTubers, okay? This is a unique way to review Star Wars, and I'm not going to go through Easter eggs and over-explain stuff, and because it's patronizing. All right? Okay, guys, if you like this video, give me a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and I'll join you in the next one. This is Return of the Nerd, you bunch of wasteroids.